The Metropolitan Museum of Art has been laying the groundwork for a major move into modern art for years. These efforts now culminating in the opening of the Met Breuer, a new life for the building borrowed from the Whitney Museum for 8 years. Here to tell us more about Met Breuer's inaugural show is WSJ Arts and Review editor Eric Gibson. Eric, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So you have been able to see the show already. It's not open to the public till mid-March, and it's called Unfinished: Thoughts Left Visible. What are your thoughts?
Well, let me back up a little bit and just talk a bit about the Met's whole initiative, which is probably has the potential to be to reshape the cultural conversation in New York, certainly in a way that it hasn't since the opening of the Whitney Museum and MoMA almost 100 years ago. You know, the thumbnail history of modern art is that Picasso and Matisse and everyone since invented their styles, made their works in opposition with the past. But this isn't true. Picasso was obsessed with the old masters, for example.
Sure.
But we've tended to see old and new as separate entities. And what the Met is saying is we have these amazing collections of world art stretching all the way to ancient antiquity. We want to help people understand and understand ourselves modern art through the lens of the past. So that's what this is about.
Incredible potential is there.
Huge potential.
And so does this opening show speak to that potential?
It speaks to it, but with a very uncertain voice. The idea is that throughout the history of art, from the Renaissance to the present, artists have, in various ways and for various reasons, produced left work that is or looks like they didn't finish the job,
right,
either because they're patches of blank canvas or the brushwork is sketchy or whatever.
Right.
And that's what they're focusing on. And it's true. You have Titian, the great Renaissance painter, Turner, the great British landscape artist, Cézanne, all the way to the present. The problem is that they're making something central that's really kind of a peripheral issue, because when you look at the great Titian flaying of Marsyas that they have,
which you say has not been in this country
has not been shown in this country in 20 years.
So that alone is worth going to see.
That alone is worth going to see.
Yes, amazing. So if the Met's attempts to classify these works ring false, the mesmerizing art that's part of it is enough of a reason to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
This is, yes, it's a run, don't walk exhibition.
Right.
But that's the problem, is that time after time, you know, you're standing in front of the flaying of Marsyas mesmerized, not so much because of the loose brushwork and you're wondering, did this guy quit too early, but because it's an absolute harrowing image of cruelty.
Right.
And the same with something like the Turner. The swirls of paint, you're not thinking, you know, is this finished or not? You're thinking this is an amazing vision of nature.
And tell us about some of the other sort of notable works that are in this exhibit.
Well, there are some great Cézannes. There's a very entertaining Andy Warhol. There's a very strange and sort of obsessive work by an artist named Janine Antony, which is called Lick and Lather, and it's two sculpted self-portraits from the 90s, one in chocolate, one in soap.
Yes.
And there are abstract expressionist works, minimalist works. Gerhard Richter is in the show. I mean, it's a very good sweep. The problem is when you get into the contemporary section, they've sort of ginned up these 4 categories of what they call unfinishedness. For example, the infinite or the participatory, but they don't really define them that well. They seem very sort of arbitrary, and some of the works they include don't really fit. So that's another problem.
So this opening exhibit out of the gate, a bit of a misstep. What would you suggest going forward the Met do to, you know, fulfill some of this amazing potential we've been talking about?
Well, I think that an exhibition like this, there needs to be a little more intellectual rigor applied to these ideas, these choices, the explanations, and I think they need to play to their strengths more and ask themselves, we're in a city with 4 modern art museums, the Whitney, MoMA, the Guggenheim, the New Museum. How can we differentiate ourselves from everyone else? There's an awful lot about this unfinished exhibition, the modern and contemporary section, that feels like it could have been done by the Whitney or MoMA, and that's not what this should be about.
So do you think becoming a major voice in the contemporary art space will prove to be a little bit more difficult than the Met bargained for?
Well, anything takes time,
right.
And the potential is there. I mean, there's no question about it, and I think it's an extremely exciting development.
Yes.
One swallow doesn't make a summer. It's too early for definitive judgments, but I think they've got some work to do.
All right, Eric Gibson, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
that.